Okay, so let's build a website. Um, just to walk you through what Drupal 7 kind of looks like from the administrator's point of view, this is your website down here, and this is the menus for the administrator functions. There are two important elements to Drupal. There's content nodes, which are called nodes, and then there are users. And so by going to content, we can see the content. I've just put an article there, just to have something there. And as you saw in 6 on the server at school, people can add content whether or not they're an administrator or not. That's an option that's settable, and we'll see later. So, first thing we're going to look at is content types. Basically, you can create a content type for anything. The ones that come on here are article, a basic page, blog entry, book page, and a poll. There's also forums, but you basically can create anything you want. And basically it works like any basically database system. You have to give it a name. Content type we are making up. And it creates a machine name so that for the machine to use, and you can create you put a description in there if you want. And then for everything we'll just have the title field being called title. And you can set various publishing options, whether you want it when it's submitted, whether or not you want it published, promoted to the front page, sticky at the top of the list. There are multilingual, whether or not you want multilingual support, whether or not you want to display the author, date, and information. Probably one of the most important ones is comments, whether or not you want to allow comments, and do you want those comments to be reviewed before or after they're allowed to be seen. And then you can also determine where in the menus you want that content to be available. So we'll save the content type and add the fields. Now, you can have any number of fields, and they can be just about any kind of information you want. Okay, that's not good. The content type we are making up has been updated. Okay, let's try this again. Content types. Except now the content type we have found we made is now here, so we can edit, manage the fields, manage the display. We're going to manage the fields, hopefully. Okay, so it starts off with two basic fields. It starts off with a title field, which is the title field means is one. And then it starts with a body field, which basically is like the body of a blog or whatever. It's just a big text area. And it actually comes with a text area and a summary area, so that you can write a separate summary to be used in like lists of entries and stuff like that. And so let's delete that. Let's get rid of that. And let's say we were going to set up something like a review. So we need to add a field. The first thing, one of the things we'll need is a URL to the work being reviewed. Right. And so you select a type. And if you're not familiar with these types, you probably should look them up on the internet. Boolean is just a yes or no. A date is a date. Decimal is a decimal pointed number. A file is a file name. A float is also a decimal point number. Image, integer is a number 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a whole number. And then you can have lists of things. And then we're going to have this just be a text, because it needs to be just like URLs of text. So we'll put save on that. And the maximum length 255 should work. If it doesn't, we can We'll actually have to come back and do a lot of things, but that doesn't really matter right now. And then we can set up information for inputting it. So the label that's used before it, whether or not it's required, the size of the text field as it's displayed, not the size that it can be, the size that is displayed. Whether or not it should be plain text or filtered text, which filtered text allows you to put in bolding and stuff like that. Whether or not it has a default value, the number of possible values it can have. We're just going to stick with 1 for now, but it can have anywhere from 1 to 10 or unlimited. Maximum string length is 255, which we already set. We'll save that. Now we have a title and the URL to the work, and so then let's create the review, which is going to be, let's go with long text and summary, because that's what they probably would. I tend to just do things in long text. I tend not to write summaries, so, but we'll stick with that. Well, okay. It has no field settings. So this is, well, will be displayed when it's done 20 rows. Allow the authors to input an explicit summary. We want the explicit summary. No default value. You know, what kind of text we want to allow, whether we want to allow HTML, full HTML, plain. You want to avoid putting allowing PHP code in there, because people can sometimes do things that they shouldn't. So we'll put save, and we will go with that for now. Let's see, where am I at time-wise? Okay. Let's go home. Let's add content. And let's add the content type we made up, which is our review. So the title would be, I guess, like, we may actually, well, it would be like whatever the work is, the work. The URL would be http://opacserver.something.com/ some number that is the book. Okay, so then the person writes the book, blah blah, I like this book. Actually, no, let's not. Let's have them not write that. Let's have them do the in-depth, blah blah, in-depth stuff about whether I like the book or not. And then, because we put the summary in there, let's put the summary in there, where you can say, where in this thing you would say whether or not you liked the book. A very simple, you know, is this a positive or a negative review or whatever. 4 stars. You know, blah blah, with something that indicates, you know, just kind of in general how, you know, quickly how. And then comment settings, they're set to open. That may not be what we actually want for what we have. And these are just options. A lot of them are things that users with post permissions. Okay, let's go with that. Okay, now we save it, and now it's the work. And this is the administrator's view. The normal view doesn't have these. These only exist. These tabs only exist if you're able to do something with it. And then we can actually change how this is done. But I'm going to stop and